Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the art studio. I'm so glad to have you here. It is Monday morning and it is time to talk about what's going on in the world of Orange Easel. So the team got together yesterday. We actually did our Christmas party. It's been a long time coming. December's crazy, so we never get it in December, but usually we get it in January, but there just wasn't a good day in January. And then the Chiefs were playing, and so we didn't want to put it on a Chiefs Sunday, and so it ended up on last Sunday because it was an off day. So the team got together, we went to brunch, and then we did some rock climbing. So if you're interested in seeing some of the behind the scenes videos, they will be up on our stories for Facebook and Instagram for probably another like 8 hours, and then after that they'll disappear. Those don't need to live on forever, but there's some good pictures too. Anywho, we're going to talk about what's going on in week 2 of February. Before we dive right in, though, I want to make sure everybody is clear. When I'm saying week 2 of February, that's because the month started on a Wednesday. And so if you're in a Monday or Tuesday class, you are one video behind. Could I just make videos on Wednesdays? Sure, I could. But I feel like when we talk about which is more difficult, just to remember that like Monday and Tuesday are behind, or to try to reset our week to start on a Wednesday. I just rather it be this way. So hopefully it gets fixed. I honestly haven't looked at the calendar to see when it gets reset. But if you're in a Monday or Tuesday class, and then I bring this up because somebody was confused last week. If you're in a Monday or Tuesday class, your month starts like behind us, right? You haven't had a February class yet. So you might be kind of like, why are we talking about week 2? Because my Wednesday, Thursday people and Friday people are week 2. So we got to talk to, we got to talk to them. So if you want to know what your class is doing in Monday and Tuesday, go look at last week's video and do a little refresh there. And then, so yeah, if you have questions, you can reach out to me. So let's talk about, we're going to dive right into preschool art classes. So this is a really great picture. Miss Laura grabbed it of the kids doing a jelly plate print. And I thought it was a good thing to start with. So this was our art activity last Thursday. This might be Friday's class. I can't remember. And they read a book about Andy Warhol called Uncle Andy's Cats. And then they did some printing because Andy Warhol was known for his silk screening and for his printing. So this is it's like a super smooth surface. We roll it with paint. We lay down little heart shapes as a mask. And where there's a heart, the ink or the paint does not come up. And then you put your paper down and rub on it, and then when you pull it up, you have your hearts that are on your paper. So it's a fun way to work with positive and negative images. It's a fun way to, get to paint without brushes. You get to use rollers. So that was what our kids did last week for their art class. If you're in Monday and Tuesday, this is what you'll get to do this week. We also read, like I said, Uncle Andy's Cats, and we did some Valentine's Day, diffuser art where you use the little pipettes and you drop it onto the paper. So it is also the month that we're working on portraiture. So this week we'll be working on getting photographs of all the kids because we're going to use it in our week 3 project. They're going to be reading The Kissing Hand this week, which is an adorable book. And I think it works well for Valentine's Day. So they're going to read The Kissing Hand. We're going to do some mirror art. So we've got some mirror board for them to decorate. And then we're going to do our giant life-size portraits where they'll lay down on the floor on a piece of butcher paper and we will trace around them. And then they'll get to decorate their portrait, which is exactly their size because we traced them. So that's what's coming up in week 2 of our week 2 of our preschool classes. So let's chat through what is going on in our drawing classes. So drawing classes have also started their portraiture and figure if you're in Drawing 101 or Drawing 102 Advanced Realistic. Last week was all about getting the features of the face in the right place. And that was a fun lesson to revisit because the last time we did portraiture was a self-portrait benchmark back in September. So it's fun to take their journals and look and see, okay, even though we haven't had a portraiture lesson, we've had a lot of drawing lessons. What is the difference between September's portrait and tonight's portrait. So we did have the portraiture lesson. This week, they're going to start with the figure, so the whole person. We're really just looking for the skeletal system. Think stick figure. We're just trying to get limbs to bend where they're supposed to bend, limbs to be the right proportion. So the distance from my wrist to my elbow to my shoulder, the length of my arm, the fact that my hands, if they're down by my side, actually hit just below mid-thigh. People tend to draw arms too short or legs too short. So getting everything just in a stick figure in the proper placement. We'll be bringing in models. So some of our like admin instructors might be models. We might use kids in the class to be models, just to try to get that observational drawing from life in our proportions. Some of the instructors also have a lot of fun. We'll break out like dress up clothes. So when the kids are modeling, they've got props. It's really fast because we're just drawing sticks. We're not worried too much about all the details. And so it's like a 2-minute or 3-minute pose. And then we have to switch to a new model. We'll practice in our journals. We'll probably also get out big easel paper. When you're trying to draw fast, sometimes it's easiest to draw big. So we'll get out big easel paper and charcoal so they can move really gesturally. So that'll be this week's lesson. Next week, we'll drill down and get into some more of the details of figure. And that's when they'll grab out our drawing mannequins for week 3. My comic classes, they did chibi animals last week. So it's our super cute little stylized animals, simplified stylized animals. This week, they're going to be drawing robots. So think Transformers. So something that is humanoid, but has mechanical elements to it. So they're going to look at obviously figures but then we can exaggerate. Unlike my 102 advanced realistic and my 101 class where they're trying to get the proportions the correct way, your 102 classes might exaggerate it, right? Because it's a robot. So maybe it has super long legs or super big arms. And then they'll look at photographs of machinery, like heavy machinery, to understand how are plates bolted together and what does a joint look like if you've got something in the machine that has to move or rotate. What does the joint look like so that they can use those characteristics in designing their own robots? So those are my drawing classes. My multimedia classes, I brought some visual aids for you. It is printmaking month. And so last week in my 2nd and 3rd, K1 and 4th and 5th, and homeschool, they just practiced printing. So hopefully the kids came home really excited about what printing is. But I brought some project examples. So for my K1 and my 2nd, 3rds, they are going to be doing these adorable little, it's green, of course it's green, ice cream prints. And so each piece is a different block and it's made out of this printing foam. I brought some examples. These are what the kids use to practice printing. And these are instructor designed, right? So I think I'm gonna pull out the ones that aren't green. And the reason they're colored is just because we've used them to print with. So they're like stained or just not really, or just not super clean. So now that we've practiced the printing process and they understand how it's going to work, their job this week is going to be to start making their own pieces for their prints. And I'm gonna grab one that isn't dirty. So like, oh, now my hands are a mess. So like this is a piece of printing foam and it's been drawn on with a pencil. So like if I run my fingers over it, I can feel the texture because anywhere a pencil pushed down, it like made a divot or an indentation. And when that prints, it'll print the color of the paper, not the color of the ink. So we've got some patterns going on in there. The kids this week will design all of their ice cream pieces. They're going to make their template for scale on construction paper first. And then once they're happy with it, they will trace it onto the printing foam. So this is a piece of printing foam. They'll trace it on the printing foam, put all their designs and patterns inside the piece because that will print and it will show up. And then next week they'll cut them out and start printing. So that's my K1, 2nd, 3rd. And I think homeschool is also doing this project. That was a instructor's decision. The 4th and 5th grade classes are doing collagraphs. And so I didn't bring the big collagraph. I should have. It's back in the closet, because they're going to be working on this great cityscape collagraph. It's on social media. It's posted. We did it last summer. It was awesome. So, and we liked it so much. We said, we're going to do that in printmaking month. But they spent last week just wrapping their brain around how a collagraph works. And so we're making our collagraphs. This is an example of a collagraph plate. This is a small one that Miss Melissa made. We are making our collagraphs out of just manila folders. So that way it's kind of a heavier duty cardstock, and you can see kind of the texture here that we've got some hearts that are glued on, and kind of some polka dots. They're made by a hole punch that are glued on. And if you take something like this and you roll ink over it, and then you put a piece of paper on top of it, it makes a print. And I don't have a print of this exact one. Matter of fact, I don't know, where's my print? It's like, I know I brought one, maybe I didn't. So the kids last week, we had made a whole bunch of these for them to just practice with. And you can see all the great prints that we made. Okay. And so hopefully, obviously this is not the subject matter that 4th and 5th grade are going to be working with. It's a Valentine's Day themed subject matter, but hopefully it helped them to understand how a collagraph works, like, so that when they go to build theirs, they understand why they're cutting and gluing in order to make a print. So they will work on their printing plates starting this week. They'll start cutting out their buildings and their windows and their architectural details to make their skyline and start gluing all of that down. We're going to try to get that done in one class period so that we can dedicate the remaining periods really for printing. Some of our kids work faster than others, so if they need more time, obviously we've still got 2 more class periods, but that's our goal. Our goal is to stay focused and finish our collagraph plate this week in week 2, so that way when we print in week 3s and 4s, we can really focus on getting a really great clean print instead of being rushed in that part because we spent so long building the collagraph. For middle school, high school, 6th, 7th, and 8th through 12th are carving. And I brought an example. I don't think I had an example of the substrate last week, so I brought it. This is the exact stuff that they are using. It is really bendy and flexible. It's actually really thick too. It's a linoleum substitution. It's not line out, but it's a substitution for that. So it's kind of like pink eraser material. It's super heavy. And you can see this one has been carved into because I think our teachers and our kids have been carving into it just to see what it feels like and the textures and the designs and the patterns that they can make. This is the print of that exact block. And here's another one. So their subject matter that they're going to be working. Oh, and this is the tool. I brought one of the tools because I thought it was interesting to show you. You can see it's kind of a U shape, and you take it and you scoop it up. It's got a blade right here, so it is sharp. We buy a lot of Band-Aids in February. You can't carve into your fingers. You got to keep your fingers behind it, and you don't have to push very hard. I don't know if I can show you on camera. You don't have to push very hard. I mean, and because you're only taking the top layer off anyway, right? Like you don't have to dig down really far. You can just go slow, and there's one that I carved right there. Yep. You just need to get the top layer off, so that way it makes a print. And these come in different like shapes and sizes. So there's ones that are really wide and ones that are narrower, ones that come to a V, ones that are flat on the bottom, ones that are curved. They all make different marks. So we've got a bunch of these for them to use. They spent most of week 1 designing their landscapes. And I wanted to show you some of the work that they did. One of the things that makes printmaking so challenging, right, is because as I am taking this and drawing lines in my carving block, it is going to be what is white in my print. So in printmaking, what we carve is our negative space. If my subject is supposed to be a heart, and what I want to print is the heart, then what I draw is the area around the heart, and what I remove is all the area around the heart, and I leave the heart. So mentally, we have to think, I'm not carving my subject, I'm carving everything around my subject, so that my subject is what pops off the page. So it's a brain teaser. And after enough years of trying to teach this, we've decided that this is the best way to do it, and that is to draw on black paper. So this is an example of one of our students' designs, and so you can see. Hang on, I want to get the pronoun right. Who is this? I'm going to go with they because I'm not sure. You can see that they have put white lines to outline their clouds, to outline their building, to indicate waves in the water. And everywhere they've put white is where we will carve, because that way, if we're drawing this in black, what's confusing is when we go to print it, you get the opposite. So this actually, we can place it down on the printing surface and rub it, and the chalk actually transfers to this, and it gives us something to follow, because this is perfectly to scale. So that's one example. Here's another one, which I really liked, kind of as a design. And you can see there's a lot of area that has nothing. I'm not in the right spot on my camera going on, right? There's just blank space. So I think the instructors will talk to students about, okay, what do you fill that space with? Do you just want it to be ink? Do you want it to be white, like paper showing through? And then how do you, because if you want it to be white paper, we have to remove all of it when we carve. Or do you want it to have a pattern in it? Or do you want it to be black ink? So that's what they'll talk about this week, so that we understand that. These designs will get transferred this week onto the foam, and then we'll start carving, and that will be our class for the next 2 weeks probably. We're hoping to finish the carving by week 3, so that way week 4 can just be printing. The carving takes some time, and you can't rush it. You got to go really slow, because if you carve away something, you can't put it back. So they go slow, and also to prevent injuries. So we don't want cut fingers. All right. So a couple of housekeeping stuff before we move on, and let you get on with your day. There are just a few spots left in spring break camps. Most of them are in the Plattwood studio in the afternoon. I think there's like one spot left in Liberty, one spot left in Plattwoods is morning, and then like 8 spots in the afternoon. So if you're interested, that's where it's like a Wednesday afternoon. I can't remember what day it is. Let me hang on, I'll find you. The Wednesday, the 22nd is the day. So, and they're painting. They're making a big giant painting inspired by a Cuna San Miguel. So it's tints and shades and acrylic paints. I'm in my way. Egg decorating workshop is our next special event that we will enroll for. So I just wanted to give everybody a, an earworm to remember. It's coming up. It'll be next week. It's on a Tuesday. So on the 14th, we'll open at registration for anyone who wants to come and decorate eggs. That's a really popular workshop. It's BYOE. So bring your own eggs, and we have everything you need to make some artsy egg art. And you can buy the fake ones too. You don't have to buy real ones. All right. And then the last one that I have is just a reminder on summer. Just so everybody's got the dates. Registration opens March 15th. I'm leaning because it's over there. Registration, I guess I can feel like this. Registration opens March 15th for summer. If you are a Studio Club member, you will have access on March 1st. So right now, when you look at the website and you click through to where you see the actual listings, they're all set to wait list. When you go to sign up Studio Club members on March 1st, instead of it saying wait list, it will say members only. And if you have a Studio Club like indicator on your kiddo's account, you will be able to sign up. Only Studio Club kids can sign up, and So just a heads up on that. I had some people ask about discounts because Studio Club members get discounts on camps, but those are only during your semester. So semester ends in May, so the discount codes won't work for summer camps. But we did have those early bird discount codes. So if you haven't seen those were in the summer sneak peek emails and social media posts. Go back and look for those. If you can't find them, let me know. There are 3 discount codes that you can use during the month of March to save on your summer programming, camps, workshops, and like storytime classes. All of them have discount codes, and those are good until the end of March. So definitely look for those. Okay. And that's it. That's all I have for you in our second week of February. Again, if you're in a Monday or Tuesday class, go back and look at last week's video to find out what your kids are doing in classes. This was for the second week. So this is for Wednesday through next Tuesday. Sound good? All right, everybody. If you need anything from me, you know where to find me. I'll be here at the Liberty Studio all week. Hope everyone has a good one.